Welcome to the Final Furlong podcast. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the show. This is our first show of the week. We didn't want to record after the tragic passing of Michael O'Sullivan. To just be talking about horse racing after the sport lost one of its brightest talents just didn't seem like the right thing to be doing. I was in Gorn Park on Saturday and it was a surreal atmosphere because everybody in the racing community knew what was going to happen. None of the jockeys wanted to be there, and yet it was a sold-out crowd. There were thousands of people there. Tickets were free, but there were tourists from France, loads of people over from the UK. It was an incredible crowd. And in some ways, it reminded you why people do this, why jockeys literally risk everything. It's for that. It's the sport is bigger than any one person. And yet, it has lost one of its brightest stars. And one of the most tragic things about Michael's loss is what would have been, what he would have achieved, what else would he have done? And the answer to that is he would have been a star, because he took advantage of every single opportunity that was given to him. And so he would have taken advantage of every opportunity that came his way to come. So on behalf of everybody connected to the Final Furlong podcast, a huge sympathy to his family, his friends, his colleagues in the weighing room, his colleagues in racing, and every single person who knew him. Peter, you've owned racehorses in Ireland. You've been involved in racing for quite a while. It's a terrible, terrible blow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the worst. Everyone, anybody connected to racing, any jockeys or even show jumping or anything, it's the worst thing that can obviously happen. And I never met Michael, but I've read enough about him to know that not only was he a sensational rider, top class rider, he was a hell of a human being as well, from what everyone was saying about him. And, that counts. I mean, what he achieved, what, like you said, in his 2-3 years of riding is phenomenal. And to go with that, he seemed like an absolute gentleman and a guy who was eager to learn, work hard, dedicate himself. So, as you said, racing has lost a star, and they've lost a star to heaven. So, no words can suffice, really.
No, they really can't. There's nothing you can say. It's just platitudes and it's cliches, and yet you have to say something, Andy. But I didn't have the privilege of knowing him, and I feel so bad about that, because the more you talk to people, the more you hear people talk about him. It's just, Michael O'Sullivan was a class act and somebody who had a lot of success in a very, very short space of time, and yet remained incredibly humble the whole way through, Andy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, I obviously never met Michael either, but the sort of outpouring on the socials is sort of what I've sort of connected with, and everyone that has met him, that have sort of put their experiences up on Twitter and Facebook and so on, I've just literally had like great things to say about him. And it's just been spending quite a lot of time reading those and looking back at some of these sort of video interviews and stuff like that, and it's amazing. Actually, I didn't 24, I thought he was older than that. He's been around for seemingly a long time, and obviously the Marine Nationale Cheltenham win was the pinnacle, the highlight, and it was nice seeing those colours today, wasn't it? Going so yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say really. Tragic loss, super duper jockey, and just a stark reminder out there that we all love the sport, and the jockeys put their sort of lives on the line for all of our enjoyment of a wonderful sport we've got.
And it is a wonderful sport. And Michael didn't ride William Money at any point. I'm sure he worked him at home, but he never rode him on the track. And yet there was just this spontaneous round of applause when he crossed the line. Even before he got to the line, actually. There weren't many people at Punchestown today. And funny, I think if Goran on Saturday had the crowd that Punchestown had today, they might have pulled it. They might have just gone, let's stop it. But the fact that there were so many people there of all ages, maybe that gave the jockeys just a little bit of a reminder. This is why you do this. The sport is bigger than any one person. But while it's bigger than any one person, it will take a long, long time to heal from the loss of Michael O'Sullivan. And it's a loss that this sport he'll never be forgotten, because we won't allow him to be forgotten. An incredible talent, an incredible star, and we're so, so sorry for his family, his friends, and all who knew him. God rest him.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banksbet.
I don't really know how we're supposed to go and talk about racing and betting opportunities now, but that is what you've tuned in for, and that is what we're here for. So we will endeavour to do so, and do so in hopefully some bit of an entertaining and light-hearted way. We'll begin with the Ladbrokes Pendil Novices Chase. Jeff Banks' bet goes 13-8 about Roubaud for the Paul Nicholls team. They were back in the winner's enclosure with a Grade 1 winner last week. You'd think that was it. It was all healed, and now he's going to be champion trainer again. Not so sure about that, but he might win this race, though. Certainly has the form to go and do so. Old friend of the podcast, Imperial Saint, is a 9-4 shot. Ashdale Bob, at the grand old age of 10, comes over for the Harrington team at 5s. Boom Bomb is a 8-1 shot. It's 9s about Mark of Gold, and if you like Boohaloo, you can get 28-1 from Jeff Banks' bet. That 13-8 is pretty much industry best price. Peter Michael, does it appeal to you?
Well, I mean, he's by far and away, in my book anyway, the most likely winner. Obviously, he's going up 4 furlongs in trip, so we won't know until he tries it. But I mean, I'd say there's more chance of him staying than not staying. The only thing that would be in the back of my mind was he did have a tough race last time out. That was a grueling race, and at one stage I thought, you know, he wasn't going to come second, but then he kept on very, 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 pushed the skeleton horse close in the last couple of furlongs. So I'd say the price is about right. I think he's the most likely winner. I think he'll stay. I know you're a big fan of the horse, Emmet, and this could be his day to get back on track, his career on track. And I think it's only his third race over fences. I mean, if you go through the field, you have some good horses there, but he's the one with the most potential. And, you know, he should really, if he stays, he should be winning this to going on to better things. But I just would be worried about that very hard race 2 weeks ago. That would be in the back of my mind. So I wouldn't be betting in this race, but I would say he's the most likely winner.
I'm slightly worried about that hard race for Low de Sceaux for the Arkle, and we're a few weeks away from that race. So it definitely does linger in the mind. But that being said, Paul Nicholls has got a cracking record in this race, and I'd say he does have a class edge. So as long as he stays, he should go and win. Michael Caine, what do you think?
Well, that's better than what I was called anyway.
Well, it was, yeah. That was whoever you were on the comments. Yeah, that actually made me chuckle. So well done. I normally wear glasses just because I'm on here. I can't flipping see like close up, right? So
my name is Michael Caine, and I'm a nosy neighbour. Nah.
Yeah. But yeah, look, you said Nicholls has got a good record in these. Yeah, 13 previous wins for Nicholls, and look, we've given him a hard time on the poddy for probably about a month or so now. But I think it's going to be a big.
He's a big fan of the show. That's why he's been lashing out lately.
It was
shut those podcast boys up.
Yeah, but so yeah, no, I don't know. He's got a few sort of chances. I mean, obviously, Pic Dory turned it around for him last week, and 3 under 3-5 almost got us up as well at whatever it was, 12-1, 10-1. So yeah, there are little signs that he's, you know, coming back. And yeah, I mean, it's a good point Peter made about, you know, the hard race for Roubaud last time out. But, you know, obviously the trip is going to be the thing that is the unknown, you know, all its runs over hurdles and so on, over 2 miles. But, you know, the way it stayed on last time, I mean, it's hard to know whether Low de Sceaux was stopping a bit in front or whether Roubaud was staying on. So, you know, the sort of on the visual, it looked like, yeah, you know, another sort of 4 furlongs. You know, if he is going to get this kind of trip, the track to do it. The other worry, obviously, that he fell at Christmas, you know, over these fences. So, you know, that would be the other concern as well. Imperial Saint, I mean, look, all 3 of its wins have been at Aintree. So, I don't know, there's something there maybe. Rated £4 lower than Roubaud, but obviously it's his first run at Kempton. So I don't know. I just think, you know, it's a shame Jinko Blue didn't go. I think that was entered earlier in the week, wasn't it? And, you know, unseated last week quite early on, and I think that would have been, you know, made the race a tad bit more interesting. But yeah, so I mean, look, Roubaud is probably the call for me, just because, you know, the Nicholls thing. I mean, look, Captain Chris was the last horse to win this and go and win the Arkle in 2011. It's been quite a good race for favourites over the years. You know, Cobden's won 3 of the last 4. Obviously, like we said, Nicholls got a good record in it as well. But yeah, I mean, look, the sort of flying I mean, look, when was the last time there was like a 50-1 Henderson de Boinville horse running in a novice chase? I mean, yeah, okay, it's been pulled up the last twice, but before that, it's got bits of form now. I think it beat that Classic King, who you boys were all over last week over hurdles last year here at Kempton. back in April. So, course winner, I don't know. I mean, it does look a massive price if you can forgive its last 2 runs. But yeah, Rhubar's the percentage call really for me.
Yeah, I think he wins. I think it's keep it simple, stupid. He'll just go and get the job done. And hopefully he can. A resurgent Paul Nicholls back in the winner's enclosure. Yeah, that's more of it. That's the Pendil Novices Chase. We shall switch tracks and head over to Newcastle for the Eider. It's the Virgin Bet Eider Handicap Chase. The betting with Jeff Banks' bet is going to be headed by O'Connell. But the price, as we record this as live, and so that means we have to leave in all of the mistakes, including me desperately trying to cover, like right now, is O'Connell at 11-2. There we go. Second favourite is a 6-1 shot, and that horse you will see on your screen right now is Collector's Item. Angler's Craig, a 7-1 shot, Passing Well, 9s, Choose the News, 10s. Same for Egbert, and History of Fashion is a 12-1 shot. Have I happened to mention the horse that you think is going to win this race, Peter Michael?
Well, I mean, it's a very competitive race, 18 runners. There's many in this that I'd give chances to, but I think Jeff has the right favourite. O'Connell. He seems to be progressing at the age of 9. Last time out, he won very easily. He was quite far, well, not quite far back, but far enough back around Sandown, and from about 3-4 furlongs out, you always knew he was going to pick them up, and he picked them up very easily. So I'd say he's probably the one to beat. But again, look, it's an 18-runner handicap. There's 24 fences to be jumped, so it's 11-2 is about the right price. Of the others, you have to respect Collector's Item. It's got a lot of weight, 12 stone. It's giving 4 to O'Connell, and both horses have jockeys claiming 3. Angler's Crag, as we know, on a going day, is out and out stare, so he's also one that would have a chance. Could give chances to a good few more in it, but I think O'Connell is the horse I'd side with here. He seems to be improving. He's finishing out his races very, very well. Big step up in trip for him, but he's got a good chance to stay it, and if he stays it, he's probably the one to beat. But it wouldn't be a race I'd be mad keen on.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. A very, very tricky one. I'm somewhat interested in Chemical Warfare. First run after a wind up for David Pipe. He blew out at Doncaster the last day, but he was fancied for that race. And he won at Newcastle prior to that with an RPR of 116. I think, are we getting 20s about him, Jeff? What are we getting here from Jeff Banks' bet about Chemical Warfare? 16s. I'm pretty sure he was 20 this morning. Jeff has cut him to 16s. That's the way I'd be looking right now. And it's quite a while since I put up a David Pipe horse on the show. Andy Newton, who are you with?
Well, I mean, Pipe's actually 2 from 5, I think, at the moment at Newcastle. So, yeah, course winner as well. But lightweight, 10 stone 9, I think. So, yeah, probably, if you can forgive its last run, like you say, it's had a wind up. So, maybe. You never know. I mean, yeah, it's one of those races that you can literally just, make cases for probably, pretty much all of them, and it's just a tricky one, who's going to stay best. And O'Connell is clearly going to get the trip after what we saw at Sandown last time out. It's interesting they've got Peter Kavanagh claiming 3 on there as well, so that's I think it's up £8, so really only up 5. So yeah, but still got a lot of weight, 11 stone 10. Same with Collector's Eye, and again they're trying to take a bit off with Jack Hogan. So don't know, I just feel like they've got a little bit too much of a big burden. Obviously, Angler's Craig in there, won it last year. It was 4th in the Edinburgh National last time out. But I mean, the last back-to-back winner, I think, of this race was, I think it was in the 1960s or something like that. So when I was looking out for that, and the other thing against that is again, if you like your stats, I do reel them off most weeks. But the age here, I mean, 18 of the last 20. So pretty much all of them have been aged 10 or younger here. So, I mean, Angler's Craig is okay with that one, but there's a couple of 11-year-olds in here, that History of Fashion. I'd like the way you're thinking as well. So they've got it all to do on the age stat. And the weight one is 17 in the last 20, carried 10 stone 13 or more. So there's a few at the bottom of the handicap there. You can probably put a line through. And that includes, obviously, last year's second was in this race as well, that Prince de Fiancha, or whatever it's called. So yeah, that's down £6 from last year. So yeah, maybe make a case for that. But look, the two I've sort of come down on, I think Egbert for Alan King, 8-year-old, won the Tommy Whittle last time out. I mean, that was like really desperate ground, heavy ground, slow motion stuff, but it's only at £5 from that. A better ground, I think, will help get in the trip because it's a little bit of an unknown. But the third in that race was Famous Bridge, who, I think I put it up last week. If I remember rightly, it's about 12s, and it won the Grand National Trial. It ended up coming in at about 6-1. So that was third. The fourth in that race, Credo's come out and won as well. And even the horse that was pulled up, I think that French Delage, I think it's Venetia's horse that came out and won at Sandown. So there's quite sort of decent back form with that Egbert's Tommy Whittle run. And then the other one is the John McConnell horse, which is, I think it's pronounced Boestava or something like that. And there, I think that was second last time in the Edinburgh National at Musselburgh on when the Dublin Racing Festival was going on. It was only beaten, I think it's about 9.5 lengths. But if you watch that race back, staying on. They've got a claimer on as well today, Alex Harvey taking off 5. So, we know John McConnell comes over and sort of raids our races quite well. So I'm quite happy sort of at those prices, 14-1, probably both about 14-1, Egbert and that Boestava, I think, for me, Emmet.
Okay.
But it's a race you can make cases for pretty much everything, isn't it?
I mean, genuinely. I do like David's horse, but I don't deny the fact that this might just be a class too far for him. But he's 3 from 5 at Newcastle. He's placed on another start there. It's such a wide open race. You'd give a chance to anything, and I want to try and tilt at something at a bit of a price. So that's who I landed on. But I could very easily have gone for the McConnell horse as well. And I don't need to pronounce his name because you've done that for me. Thank you very much. Of course, I knew all of that. I was just allowing you boys the opportunity to shine. Anyway, moving on. Very, very swiftly.
Well, all I was going to say, we've only had 4 favourites in the last 20 going as this as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, speaking of favourites, the Good Thing Favourites accumulator was on today at Punchestown, except for that Dr. Eggman, who's a Dr. Hound. My goodness, that horse will find a way to lose every single time. Mondo Man found a way to lose, some would argue, first time up. That was certainly George Gorman's view on it. He just hadn't had things go his way in his work that week and then pulled way too hard against Luamba. He was due to be taking him on, but the smoke signals were out. The 7 Barrows horses drifted like a barge and, oh, look, they're not here. But Mondo Man is, and he's the 7-4 on favourite for the Gary Moore team, a resurgent Gary Moore, like David Pipe, back in the winner's enclosure very lately, and he's been talking a big game about this horse, as has George Gorman. So this is George's chance to shove the chest out, start beating the chest and say, I told you all, unless OPEC or somebody else comes along and beats him. 7-4 on with Jeff Banks' bet about Mondo Man. OPEC 9-2, St. Pancras 13-2. Does he just win this, Peter Michael?
Well, I mean, he should be winning this, but the way he pulled the last time, and that's not the first time he's pulled. I mean, he still ran a massive race. He still ran a big race, second to Luamba. What was he beaten in the end? 3 lengths after pulling so much, an RPR of 114. I mean, if he reproduces that, that's probably good enough to win this race, and there's every reason to think he'll reproduce that. But I'd just be a bit concerned. It's not the first time he's pulled either. He's pulled in the flat over shorter distances as well. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens at the start of this race. Either so, because we all know OPEC's a front runner, but he wouldn't want to be teeing it up for Mondo Man. So, and I don't think they're going to go forward with Mondo Man because that could be the worst thing to do for his career, is to set him alight early on in his hurdling career. So, I mean, if the other jockeys use their brains here and go very, very slow, Mondo Man's going to pull absolutely. He could literally pull his race away. So I don't know how the race is going to pan out. I mean, if you're taking him on, you want him to absolutely crawl, and hopefully you'd be hoping he'd pull too much to have anything left in the last 3-4 furlongs. And if you're not taking him on, you'd like OPEC to use his normal tactics and just go, and that would help Mondo Man settle some. I don't think he's going to settle regardless, but it might help him settle somewhat. Look, he should win. If he doesn't win this, they could be in a bit of trouble. But in saying that, OPEC is no mug. But I mean, look at the difference in them in the flat rating.
That's the problem.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So Mondo Man ran a cracker of a race the way he pulled. I mean, he really did pull against Luamba, and he still was only beaten 3 lengths by a horse who's been topped up. But it's just hard to back him. What price is he with Jeff? 4 to 7, 8 to 13?
Yeah, 7 to 4 on with Jeff, 9 to 2 OPEC.
Yeah, it's very hard. I'm going to go for OPEC just for that matter. And for anyone backing him or going for him, you just hope that, I'm sure Sam Twiston-Davies for me is one of the best jockeys in the UK. So I'm sure he'll have all this worked out. And if they go taking each other on early on, I'd be very surprised because they're just going to play in the hands of Mondo Man. So look, the first half a mile of this race will be crucial. If he drops his head 70 or 80%, he'll win. If he doesn't, he gives the others a chance. And I'm going to go with OPEC. I'm going to forgive the last run. It was too bad to be true. It was one of those days we really couldn't see that much of races. Before that, she had done very little wrong, very progressive, jumps well. The form obviously is probably not as good as Mondo Man, but we don't know if Mondo Man's going to pull his race away. Of the others, St. Pancras obviously was well behind Mondo Man at Ascot and then went on to win a listed race. Probably not the strongest race as that, even though it was a listed. The Nichols horse we don't know much about, so it's hard to weigh it up. The other one is just 2 more in it, the Irish horse and Mambo number 5. OPEC for me, and you'd be hoping that they crawl.
3 of the last 4 runnings of this, Gary Moore has had the runner-up. I think he'll have the runner-up again. I have a feeling OPEC's going to make all and win. He pulled like a train. Like he'll give it up. There'll be nothing left. And yeah, she was vastly inferior to Mondo Man on the flat, but you're jumping now, and she's got lots of experience, and she buried Quantock Hills. And he's come out and dead heated in a trial at Cheltenham. You can argue about the merits of how much that form was, but she's professional, and she can't have run a race at Chepstow. She just cannot have run a race that day. So I'll take the 9 to 2, Jeff. Thank you very much about OPEC. Andy Newton, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, that is the value one that a lot of people that don't like backing the odds on shots are going to weigh in on. And again, if you like your trading, I mean, you can probably back it and then get out in running if it's going to, if she's going to front run again. Probably go shorter, especially if Mondo Man starts pulling in the early stages. Then
definitely.
Yeah, so the prices in running are probably going to almost, I don't know, they're going to get a lot tighter between the two. Personally, just on the style of how this race is going to probably pan out with the front running and the potential pull of Mondo Man. But look, we just got to hope. I mean, I think I read something that that Gary and the team have going to done a bit of work since and so on. I mean, these ex-flat horses. I mean, it's tricky for them, isn't it? I mean, they want to go faster. Obviously, they're used to running over slightly shorter trips. Then you chuck a few hurdles in as well, and they've got to jump. They're learning a whole new trade, aren't they? And it is tricky for them. So you just got to cling to the fact that would have learned loads from that first run at Ascot. You probably say that if it does pull, Kempton will probably suit it a bit better than Ascot, but we'll see. You talk about the ratings for the flat ratings. I mean, what was OPEC? Something like in the 60s or something, wasn't it? But, we look at the favourite for the Triumph Hurdle, East India Dock, because as we're recording this now, there's been some kind of little things of Luamba on the drift. Nothing major, but it's no longer favourite with some firms.
Whoa. Hold up. Wait a minute. Are you telling me the smoke signals are out again from the Henderson yard?
Maybe. We don't know, but there's been
the white smoke is going up. Luamba out. Busted.
Well, it's not yet, but there was a bit. It went out to about 5s and it's come back in again. But last time I looked, it was East India Dock was the favourite now. But my point being is, what was East India Dock rated on the flat? 80 odd or something. So Mondo Man was probably 111 or something. I don't know. 111. There you go. So we're looking at that and trying to compare it to the jumps game. It just doesn't happen all the time, does it? I mean, look at Isterbrak. How that was probably an 80 rated horse and on the flat, and then we all know what that horse did. So it's a tricky one. But look, I just think that Mondo Man, I think it would have learned loads and loads from that first run, and I know it's the odds on favourite, but I think it will will go in here. I think it's about, was it 20s for the Triumph, maybe a bit less. And if Luamba does come out, then, you know, maybe you might want to grab a bit of that before this race. Who knows?
Well, if Luamba is going to come out, I want to take as much as I can get on Hello Neighbour. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's the most solid.
Yeah, by the way, just so we're not engaged in Russian disinformation or misinformation, despite the fact that it's the establishment media that's been lying to you about almost everything. But anyway, you know, they keep on going on about their misinformation and disinformation. We have no idea what the story is with Luamba, but he's still the 15 to 8 favorite with Jeff Banks Bet, for example. Mondo Man 25 to 1 for the Triumph Hurdle with Jeff Banks Bet. He's not going to be 25 if he wins this race. Peter and I are happy to take him on. I completely concede the fact that she is vastly inferior in terms of their flat pedigree, but
you see, it's not only that, and Andy's right, you know, it doesn't always translate, but Mondo Man has ran a huge race on debut over hurdles. To pull like that and still run to, I'm not on the page anymore, I think it was 114. He's run a huge race. I mean, that, you know, so it's just a matter, I mean, if they try and go forward with this horse, it could ruin his career over hurdles, because if you set them right, they're not going to settle after that. So it's just, you know, he's already ran a huge race pulling like that. So that's all credit to him. So that's why I'm just want to see. It's very interesting, the first half mile of this race, you know. That's where the race could be won or lost, I think.
I mean, how much did they buy Mondo Man for? It was about $500,000 or something, or what, euros?
Yeah, it was cheaper than Palladium, for sure. Considerably cheaper than Palladium. I think it was $500,000.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be hard, would it?
Yeah.
1.4 million.
Yeah. Well, if this dude, if he gets beaten, then all of a sudden that Caldwell Potter purchase looks a whole lot better. You see Paul Nichols in the back. Yeah.
But we have three winners that go on and win the Triumph that won this race. Arcanda, Soldatino, and Penzance over the years, fairly recently, since 2005, I think. So yeah, who knows? Like I say, if there are some rumblings around Luamba and Mondo Man settles and dots up, then who knows?
Well, you say that, but none in the last decade.
No, last one was Sarkanda, I think, 2011, and then Soldatino 2010, and then Penzance 05. So yeah, look, none. I don't know how many of.
But Night Salute did go on to win the Grade 1 at Aintree. So yeah, technically speaking.
To be honest, when you're mentioning the price there, I'd much rather I'm not saying I fancy him, but I wouldn't back him at 4 to 7. I'd much rather back him at 25 to 1, because I mean he's beaten 3 lengths by Luamba. Now I know it was a comfortable 3 lengths at the line, but he did so much wrong that day. If let's just say he settles nicely, he's going to win. He's going to go down to about 12s, 10s, 12s.
Oh yeah, easily.
Do you know? So the price discrepancy is too much. But if he doesn't settle, he has no hope at Cheltenham. So.
Some crack when he gets beat, and then all of a sudden people start questioning the Luamba form.
Maybe, like you say, I think Hello Neighbour's the most. You know, that's the solid one at the moment. And you know, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think he'll win. The more I think about that race, the more I'm pretty confident that Kevin Cromwell's horse is going to win. Anyway, that's a look at Kempton. Let's go to the flat, shall we? We're going to be covering the Saudi Cup on the Triple H Horse Racing podcast. We had Howard Kravitz on the show in the build-up to the Breeders' Cup. It was a hugely popular podcast, so I'm going on his show to preview the Saudi Cup with Top Team. Looking forward to it. Saturday, head on over to the Triple H Horse Racing podcast. We'll be having the crack for the afternoon, covering the Saudi Cup, talking some bit of a laugh, bit of crack, but the two boys are really sharp. A lot of insight to be had there. Debbie Lane on the show as well. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Triple H Horse Racing Podcast Saturday for all your Saudi Cup needs. At Southwell.
Was it 20 million for the winner? Oh, no, for the purse?
Just the 20 mil, yeah.
10 million for the winner or something.
Yeah, and we've got a load of Japanese superstars coming over, including Fever Young, who got mullered with the draw, but he might get away with it. And Shin Emperor, who we last saw in the Arc, and then finishing second in the Japan Cup most recently, but he doesn't win very often for horses who's going to be sent off quite a short price at the weekend. Anyway, Saudi Cup chat on the Triple H Horse Racing Podcast. Head on over on the YouTube channel. Come over and join us. Should be a lot of fun. At Southwell, it's the Bet UK Hever Sprint Stakes listed race over 5 furlongs. Marshman is your favourite, 5-2 with Jeff Banks bet. Diligent Harry, 11-4. Valiant Force, a 6-1 shot in the winner's enclosure, having beaten Harry's Bar last time out, who he beat 2 starts back at Dundalk as well. Former bit of a hero, that horse. Clarendon House, a 13-2 shot, and Equilateral 11s. On to the all-weather. Andy Newton, I'll start with you this time. What do you reckon?
Well, look, Diligent Harry won this last year. Now 7-year-old. I mean, I haven't got a massive opinion on this, but again, I'm going to sort of lean towards a couple of stats, which actually knocks out Diligent Harry and that Clarendon House, who's third favourite, I think, based on the age. I mean, all of the last 10 winners of this have been aged between 4 and 6. But I suppose we have to remember that this is only the second year that this race has been at Southwell or Southwell, because it used to be at Lingfield with Winter Derby and so on, but they moved it last year, didn't they? So there are some stats that might be a bit.
Is there any racing left at Lingfield?
No. Well, they got rid of the Winter Millions, obviously, didn't they, to Windsor as well? So yeah. So look, yeah, that William Buick's on it, class booking, gets £3 off Marshman, the other one as well. At the top of the betting here as well. So, yeah, but I just think I'll probably just come down on Marshman of the two at the front. Gelded in the summer, and since then it's won both its races since that op in the summer. So yeah, I just think the slight issue is the trip, because I don't think it's ever won over the minimum, over 5 furlongs. But the way it sort of won last time out, there's definitely worth another crack at it, especially after if it's this gelding operation has worked. And there is a bit of another crazy stat with the draw, but I mean, again, like I say, there's a lot of these draw stats are to do with Lingfield, but like 7 of the last 9 winners of this have been drawn either 2 or 5. Okay, so that's like almost all of them have been drawn 2 or 5. But again, as I say, apart from last year, the first one was at Southwell. A lot of these were Lingfield stats, but the 2 that are drawn, those 2 this year, are like mega prices. I think T Spirit and Higher Mate. But anyway, I don't know. Look, not a massive sort of sway, but Marshman, if you were going to chuck a free sort of bet at me to put on it.
He is just Diligent Harry is just infinitely better on the all-weather than he is on turf. He's run well on turf, but for some reason he's just better on the synthetics. I'm not sure why. And he has won at Southwell before. They're going to go a mad gallop, though. I don't know how he's going to cope with that. It's going to be the same problem for Marshman, because he's going to be up there as well. Not quite as forward as Diligent Harry will be early on. And Valiant Force wants to get on with it too. It could be a burn-up. Who were the 2 outsiders you were saying?
Well, Higher Mate and T Spirit, they're the 2 ones with the draw. But as I say, I mean, last year, Diligent Harry won it from stall 2. So that was run at Southwell, obviously. So, but we've only had 2 winning favourites in the last 10. But there hasn't been many sort of shocker rockers in there, like in terms of big prices. 12-1 shot, but most of them have been single figures, but just only 2 winning favourites. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Carl Burt won this as well back in 2020. So look, I just think I take a punt on Marshman getting home, but I see what you're saying. I wouldn't be shocked if it was like I say, a bit of they'll cut each other's throats a little bit. But
yeah, they probably won't. I just wonder if something like Mondamej might just sneak into it for a place. I'm not saying he'll win, because he's not good enough to, but he's been in terrific form in the all-weather. He disappointed the last day. He still ran all right. We covered both of his last races on TalkSport too, but he's been decent enough, and he'll get a good pace burn-up, but he shouldn't win this. I'm with Diligent Harry. William Buick choosing the glamour of Southwell over Saudi Arabia. All right, let's go with that. Peter, do you have a view on the all-weather?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a look at it, and Marshman would be my pick here. I know he's never won over 5 furlongs, but he's ran better class races really over when he's been running over 5 furlongs. So this is probably his easiest task over this trip. And 2 runs ago in Newcastle when he won, he was travelling well and he was waiting for room. And then he got his room and he went on and won his race. And last time out, he took he led. He led about a furlong and a half out. It wasn't as if he just was flying and got up in the last half furlong or whatever. So I think straight 5 furlong in Southwell. I think he'll be fine on it. And yeah, that's who I'd be going with, especially with a fast pace. I can see him, being the one to beat. And as Andy said, 2 for 2 after his operation, and we won't go into that because it's not the nicest thing for. He's been gelded and a wind surgery both, so the double whammy. But yeah, look, he's the horse to beat. He's earned. He's a proper. Sometimes these all-weather horses. I'm not talking about Diligent Harry. There's some other ones in it. They get false ratings because, it's some horses progress during the winter. They go into the winter around 80, 85, and they come out of it around 105, 110. And that's from winter all-weather racing. And then they meet proper flat turf horses that are proper 105, 110 horses. And it's a big difference between them. No firm, strong opinions, but I think Marshman's the right favourite. And what price is he with Jeff?
Did I see 3-1? Was it 3-1?
Yeah, that's a fair. I can definitely see him going shorter than that. He looks solid, and I see no reason why he shouldn't run his race. And yeah, for me, he's the one to beat.
Okay, Marshman for the 2 boys. And first, how dare we talk about the all-weather in the height of the jump season? How dare we do the Saudi Cup in the height of the jump season? But hey, we got to talk about mixture of it. Was it Archie Brooks I saw doing the countdown to the return of the Lincoln? Archie. Dovecote Novices Hurdle. Miami Magic is the 15-8 favourite with Jeff Banks bet from Tripoli Flyer for 100-30. Celtic Dino 9-2. And pretty much 7-1 bar after that. Peter Michael, Dovecote Novices Hurdle. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a race I'm actually looking forward to see. Miami Magic obviously comes into this from a second in the Grade 1 of Aintree. Before that, he'd won his two hurdle races very nicely. He beat George's Lad by 12 lengths and 3 lengths back to Salt Rock. George's Lad was second behind Vanderpoel, whose form in that race is working out extremely well. It's a line of form I've been keeping an eye on. And for Miami Magic to beat George's Lad by 12 lengths and easy enough. I don't know if there's any excuses that day for George's Lad. And then he's gone on after that to come second to Potash Charm. He definitely sets the standard here. And I think he's the one to beat. The ground should be no problem, trip no problem. I don't know if there's much rain forecast for Kempton. I did check it, but I can't remember. But he's quite versatile. Tripoli Flyer was very impressive last time out now. So, you expect him to be impressive, but the turn of foot he showed when he was switched out, when he got his gap, was quite taking. Now, the only thing I'd say about that is the horse in second is a horse I backed 2 weeks before that, or 10 days, whatever it was, Clunara, and she had a very hard race the time before that. So I kind of had that in my back of my mind going into that race. So I don't know if she ran her race. Obviously, she wouldn't have beaten the winner anyway or come close, but I don't know if that kind of exaggerated the turn of foot that Tripoli Flyer showed, but he showed some turn of foot. And then you have other horses there that you have to respect, like Celtic Dino. I know you're a fan of Emmet.
Yeah.
And, I know you're a fan of him. And Road Less Travelled, 16-1 seems a big price for that horse. I know he has a penalty, which is not ideal, but I think 16-1, he could be overpriced. But yeah, Miami Magic would be my pick here, and I'd be putting something small in Road Less Travelled, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tripoli Flyer, beat them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. And obviously the talk from the Fergal O'Brien yard was a huge amount of excitement about Tripoli Flyer. So I wish them well at the weekend. They obviously hold him in very, very high regard, and rightly so, given his big effort at Aintree in the bumper last season. I know David Pipe's horse has come out and won since as well after beating him on Hurdle's debut. So the form is there. It's kind of the Dysardino approach that they've taken so far with the lighter races.
What's happened to that horse? That's one of the biggest disappointments this season, isn't it, lads?
Who knows, lads? Who knows? I mean, Golden Ace came back with the win at the weekend for us.
Yeah,
so
like good shout last week.
The Mayor's Can. I got something right. Peter Michael knocked it out of the park last week. I managed to scramble a 2-1 winner over the line. Yay! Jeez. What a pathetic effort. But I like Celtic.
In fairness, you were brilliant the week before, so you have to give yourself credit.
Cheers.
And Andy as well.
How well? What have you done for me lately? Is all anyone wants to know. Look, what Celtic Dino did to Joyeuse at Ascot. I'd rather look at that as opposed to Aintree that you can't see. I don't fully understand what happened that day. Maybe it was just a little bit too much for him. Grade 1 company that early on, perhaps. Also, just possibly he didn't run his race for whatever reason. I'll stick with him. And Sam Thomas's horses are going well. And I'd be really pleased for Dylan Johnston to go and win as well, particularly after the crap he was getting for a winning ride the other day, especially this week of all weeks. My goodness. Andy Newton, for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, Miami Magic is definitely the one to beat based on the form and you know, like Peter said, that line of form. I think it was at Kempton when it won. The second and third have come out and won since. So, you know, second to Potter's Charm. All right, look, that's taken a knock since with, you know, that one losing on trials day at Cheltenham. So we'll see. But yeah, that's certainly the one to beat. But look, I do like Fergal's horse here, Tripoli Flyer. Okay. I know it probably didn't beat a great deal at Musselburgh last time in that Scottish Supreme, but I don't know. I just think that it's a big old horse, isn't it? It probably, you know, looks. I don't know whether Kempton's going to suit it or not, but
well, I tell you, it showed some turn of foot, yeah.
Yeah, his turn of foot was unreal, and you know, and probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 furlongs out, actually looked a little bit in trouble. I thought, hang on a minute, like this is going to get, because it was odds on, can't remember what price it was, like silly odds on, wasn't it, or something, 4-7 or something shorter, and I thought, I might get, and then suddenly it just went bish, didn't it, and then finished the line, ears pricked. Just looks like there's loads more to come. I mean, obviously this is a step up, but I'm happy to take that one. And look, the other one that is just probably worth a mention is the Chris Gordon horse, only because, all right, they've won this race, I think, twice in the last 5 years. And that Andershan, who they've got, again, another course and distance winner, won very, very easily if you watch that race back here, about 18 lengths. So, yeah, again, massively up in grade, but yard are going quite well as well, Chris Gordon's yard. And as I say, this is a race they've had on the radar in the last 5 years or so, and this could be another one that goes well. But I don't know how many runners there are. Is it 8? So look, you still got the each way there. So yeah, 11-1, 12-1. That's the each way play. But Tripoli Flyer, I think I'll take that over Miami, I think.
Okay, Winter Derby, Group 3 at Southwell. Yes, we're doing the flat again. A mile 3. Andy picked this race. If you want to blame anybody, blame Andy Newton.
No, I know. I'll tell you who to blame. It's ITV, not me.
Yeah. Why aren't they doing the Grand National trial from Fairyhouse instead? As particularly with Paul Townend choosing to ride the Grand National winner as opposed to riding the Thyestes winner when he can't ride the Grand National winner. Yeah, it's not on. What are they doing? 325, Fairyhouse, Bobby Joe Chase.
I just don't want to change it. They've always shown these 2 races when they used to be at Lingfield, and it's just, as you say, everyone's in jump mode, and it's just. I'm a
big fan of Nick Rocket. Do people not remember what I Am Maximus did in this race a year ago? Why is he 7-2 with Paul Townend on board? Have people lost their mind? What have I had a bump on the head? I need to have a look at that race properly. I've been driving around too much and not focusing enough on the Irish racing. I've been going to the Irish racing. I haven't focused enough on the Irish racing this weekend. And I'm going to be covering the Saudi racing. So, you know, we'll need to do a deep dive into that a little bit later on. That seems a little bit too good to be true. Anyway, we have looked at the Winter Derby, for which Royal Champion is the 11-8 favourite with Jeff Banks bet. And if you would like to bet on the flat, but more interestingly, if you'd like to bet on jumps racing, or I don't know, maybe the Cheltenham Festival, for example, then you can take advantage of all the big offers from Jeff Banks bet, including 10% back of any net losses after your first month of betting, up to £500. You can go nuts, gamble responsibly, in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. And if it goes wrong, don't worry. 10% of your money's coming back to you, courtesy of Jeff Banks Bet. All you got to do is use your promo code FFP500 and sign up now. You can stream live racing, including the Cheltenham Festival, on the Jeff Banks app and the Jeff Banks website. jeffbanks.bet, FFP500. 10% back of any net losses, up to £500 after your first month of betting at jeffbanks.bet. Royal Champion, 11-8. Military Academy and first-time cheek pieces for the Gosden team, 2-1. And 7-2. The pronunciation wasn't coming to me. Champagne Prince is a horse I'm interested in. William Buick is on board. Is it going to be Champagne William for a 13-2 shot? Andy Newton in the Winter Derby.
Yeah. Look, Champagne Prince is the one. Is it the only course winner, I think, No, there's another one at the bottom, Pleasant Man, but we can rule that one out.
No, you got no chance.
What Holly rides, but yeah, look, I think its form at Southwell is 1-2-1, won very easily here last time out. I think it's a listed winner at Kempton, and I think it was the Derby trial that he actually won here 3 weeks ago. William Buick's on board, but it's just the dreaded 7 runners for the each way. So I mean, look, that's annoying, because that you think that's going to get in the top 3 personally, but will it get in the top 2 against Royal Champion, proven Royal Ascot winner? It's been racing on Australia, I think, isn't it? And it's had a few trainers since its Royal Ascot win. It's now with Carl Berg. It used to be with Roger Varian, I think, before it went to Oz. But 1 from 1 at Lingfield. The sort of niggle with Royal Champion is probably the trip, really. I think it's the furthest it's gone. So 1 mile 3. I think it's only just over, but that would be the slight worry. But it did beat that Tyrannian Sea quite well last time, didn't it? And that's Frank the Fool since.
Love that horse.
Yeah, because that's another squirrel, isn't it? With its blonde mane. So
yeah.
That's a secret squirrel, that one. Sorry, yeah. But yeah,
grey,
so, look, I think
it's big grey mane. It's almost white.
It's grey, isn't it? Yeah, it's grey.
Yeah, he's great.
But yeah, look, and look, Military Academy, we know Gosden loves his race. He's won 4 of the last 6 or something, and what has it got? It's only had 4 runs, I think. 1 from 1 on the all-weather. Cheap pieces are on this time. It's only got £4 to find with Royal Champion. Gets £1. So I think of the 2 at the top of the market, I think Military Academy's probably just got the scope for a bit more improvement for me. But if there was one more runner than Champagne Prince, that would be it. And I'm ruling out the Hannon horse. I think again just on the trip. I think the trip's going to be a little bit of a worry for me with that. Yeah. Periska.
Yeah, not interested in him personally. Watch him go and win by 10. Watch it. The outsider will come and bloody do all of them, and Hannon's horse will be second. We look like absolute chumps. Peter Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting race. It'll be good to see how it pans out. Realistically, there's probably 3 that are going to fight it out, and I think the betting has it right. You've Royal Champion, Military Academy, and Persica, or whatever it's called. They're the main 3 I'd be focusing on in this, but I'd be siding with Royal Champion. I just think his form is a bit more solid than the others. Now, in saying that, the Gosden horse has done very little wrong, and they put him away. I don't know if it was by design, if he had a niggly injury or whatever, but possibly they're aiming him towards this. They've gelded him, and I'd say there's a lot of improvement to come from that horse on Saturday. So, and he'll stay the trip, no problem, which, as Andy said, Royal Champion hasn't won over that distance yet, but I mean, he's won very close to it, so it shouldn't really be an issue. But I just think Royal Champion might have a class edge over them. Now, that's not to say Military Academy is not a horse who could progress to be as good as him and achieve what he's achieved in time. He well could. The ratings, as Andy was saying as well, there's not much between them in the ratings. There's only £4, and it's £1. He's getting £1. So, it is very doable for Military Academy if he progresses, which I expect him to. But I just think Royal Champion is a solid horse. He's traveling all over the world. He made a winning debut for Carl Burke, and I think he could progress from that here. Okay,
I'm going to follow you in blindly. Royal Champion for the Winter Derby for the team. Okay, the 325 at Kempton is the Ladbrokes Trophy Handicap Chase. It's had many names over the years, so it's given a rather mundane one. All right. How far does Hyland win? Peter Michael.
Yeah, you mentioned him last week, didn't you? Or was it the week before? Can't remember.
Well, I thought he was going to win the Ultimate, and Nicky's decided, nah, screw that. We'll just go win this instead.
Yeah, he has a massive chance. I mean, his form is rock solid. He's done very little wrong over fences. So
he'll win.
Do you
Answer
think
the question. How far does he win?
Really? I don't know how far he wins by. Laurie's Bar has a very good chance. We were discussing him last week.
Laurie's Bar. He was going for that feckin' race last week. This is an afterthought.
Well, it's not a bad afterthought, is it? It's, what is it? How much is a winner? It's a big handicap. Yeah, it's just that form line as we were talking. I know, obviously, Jinko Blue didn't run it any race because he unseated or fell, whatever it was, after 1 or 2 fences. But I like that line of form. Before that race, I would have thought Larry's Bar might have been high enough in the ratings off 144. But that run, he pushed Jinko Blue the whole way, and we know he made a bad mistake, I think, at the second last or whatever it was. I can't remember now. But, yeah, look, it's a competitive race. Stone. It's not going to be easy for him, but I think he's a good chance. I think Hyland has a good chance. And Sam Thomas horse. So, yeah, Sam Thomas has a few in it, actually. Katat Dori would be another one I'd be looking at as well. But I think the trip around Kempton is probably too short for him. So I'd be focusing on the top 2 in the betting. And what's the odds there for Larry's Bar with Jeff?
Lowry's Bar with Jeff Banks bet is 5-1.
Yeah, so that would be my pick. I just like that last run, and I wouldn't be mad on him, but picking one for the race, I'd be picking between him and Hyland, and I'd go for him because of that piece of form with Janko Blue.
Okay, our power.
Yeah, who's the winning most trainer in this race? Joint winning most trainer, I think.
Henderson?
The horse you just tipped?
Philip Hobbs.
A resurgent team as well.
No, I was giving you the 2 of them, Henderson and Philip Hobbs.
No, well, Henderson's only won it once, funny enough, and that was with Marlborough back in 2004, the Robert Ogden horse, you remember. And
right.
So, yeah, he hasn't got a great record in this, to be fair. Again, I don't know how many runners he's had, but I'm sure he's had a fair few over the years. But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Hyland's the big hope for Hendo to get his first winner since 2004 in it. But like you say, I mean, we all thought the Ultima would be ideal Cheltenham race for it. He's scrapping that. All systems go to the Grand National potentially. But yeah, I mean, grey horse, you know, he'll be looking to come. I think only 3 greys have won the National, but we'll see. He's got to get the trip obviously as well. And favourites don't have a great record here either. Only 2 from the last 22. So in answer to your question, how far does Hyland win? I'm going not very far because I don't think he will win. I'm not a million miles from Kempton either. It's been raining today, pretty much. Stop-starty, but it's been raining a fair bit. And we all know Hyland is a lot better on a faster surface, on good ground. So
is our power.
So is our power, 100%. Yeah, we won this a couple of years ago. And I think it's up £3, but obviously with Dylan Johnson's £3 claiming, it's pretty much the same mark that it won a couple of years ago. But yeah, our power, the age stat is probably against that one a little bit, with most of the last winners, you know, being age 9 or younger in this, I think. So that's the only thing. But look, his Kempton form is unreal. I think it's like 3-3-1-5-3-1. So it's only been out of the first 3 once in 6 runs, our power. So I wouldn't totally put you off that, even though it is 10. It ran all right last time out. I did quite like that Bow to Greatness, but that's come out. Thought that was a fairly decent price. But look, right, let's get back on the old Paul Nicholls love train, all right? Okay,
no,
because
not Golden Sun. No,
Golden Sun. All right,
no.
I think it's worth a little each way squeak.
No,
you don't like it.
What are you doing, man? Do you hate money?
I think it's not a bad each way shot. This Golden Sun, course winner. Got a £9 pull with that Beachcomber who ran last time out. But if you watch that race, Emmet, staying on, wasn't it, that day? That was only its second run. Nicholls a little bit better form than you know when it ran in that race. So yeah, it's had a wind up over the summer. This is only its 3rd run back off the wind up. Harry Cobden. Am I making a good case?
No. No.
Well, I think
you're not convincing Emmet anyway.
I think 12-1. Top 3. The way it stayed on last time. It's another grey actually as well, isn't it? So it's going to beat Hyland, the other grey. Well, I don't know if it's going to win, but I just think it's a good each way price. I think personally.
I hate this horse. I hate him. And I don't. If you listen to this show regularly enough, you will know I don't hate horses. I hate Golden Sun. No.
Why do you hate it?
Oh, that horse and I have history.
Oh, right.
We've got history.
It's a pocket issue, is it?
Oh, yeah. That's a completely irrational, illogical. No, absolutely not.
It's a bit like Peter's hate for Charlie Deutsch, is it? Like, it's just,
No. I don't. No. A second now. There's no hate involved there. He's just not my type of jockey, but he's a very he does place his horse as well, and
enough.
Yeah,
enough.
Yeah,
hate's not the word I like to use.
Charlie's got one in this, which you the Sam Thomas one.
I think this Tripham is too sharp for this horse with Charlie up as well. Charlie would be one for more bridle horse, really.
Well, there's a point though. Like, Andy is onto something here. I just think you've gone for the wrong horse, because that Golden Sun form line is interesting, but surely Cheltenham is the one that's of more interest, and he's down to 136. He's beaten Can Do Kid, who Paul Nicholls is telling everybody can win the Grand National. Okay, Paul, 130. He's beaten Sir Psycho off 136, so he's back down to his last winning mark, and he's beaten Golden Sun.
But Golden Sun beat Cheltenham at Kempton this meeting last year, is it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he drifted in the barrage.
Yeah.
It drifted like a barge in the betting and went and won. Yeah.
But
Maybe I should go a little bit easier on Golden Sun. Oh, no. Our power will run a big race. He'll be second to Hyland, who just goes and wins. It's real simple. It's real simple. Hyland wins this race, and he'll win it well. And our power will be second to him. And
it's 50-1 for the National, Hyland, I think. So
that's going to look big after this race, I think. Do I want to back him? Not sure I want to back him for the Grand National. Not sure I want to do that yet. But I want to back him this weekend. Okay. Bets, next bests, naps, multiples, scumbag each way accums. What have we got? Peter Michael.
Well, to be honest, there's nothing I'm really keen on this week. Last week there was a few I was quite keen on, and I put my neck on the line. But this week,
shot the lights out, man. You shot the lights out.
There's nothing really standing out. If I had to pick, Saint Anna Polino runs on Saturday in the 115 at Kempton. He won last time, and he's a horse I straight away put in my trap. Absolutely nothing. But the issue is he's going up 5 furlongs in trip or 4 furlongs in trip on Saturday, and Andy's saying it's raining, and the last couple of days, well, yesterday and today, there's a lot of rain around, and tracks are being called good to soft, but by the time racing starts and racing's finished, it's nearly very soft ground or even heavy ground. So we kind of have to be a bit careful. But if he stays, he's definitely going to be winning more races. That Saint Anna Polino, the way he won the last time was just, he did absolutely nothing. He only went up £5 for that. I don't know. Yeah, he only went up £5 for that. He'll be winning more. So I'd be taking a chance on him to stay. Whether he stays or not, I don't know. So that's why I can't be very confident. And there's an Irish horse going over in Newcastle on 135, Drusilla. Now she'd want as much rain as possible. She gets a lot of weight from the other danger in the race. I don't remember the name. Hold on, I'll tell you now. Adrian Keatley's horse. Yeah, Surrey Bell. So there's no prices out for that yet that I can see. But those would be the two I'd put up. But I wouldn't be as confident as last on these naps. But Saint Anna Polino and Drusilla would be my two. And just again to remind viewers, my offer is still there for Cheltenham as well. The £5 per day, 20 quid for the 4 days for the whole festival. So if anyone's interested, let me know, and my tag there. So
£50 per day, 200 for the whole festival.
No, that's not me. That's another site that charges around 200 quid for the whole festival. And I don't know if they're worth it or not. Maybe they are. Fair play to them. But
what are you charging?
A £5 a day, so 20 quid for the whole of Cheltenham.
Five. That's insanely generous of you. Insanely.
Well, I'm a generous guy, Emmet. So what can I say?
It's in his nature. At Peter Michael Racing on X, you really want to be signing up for that and take full advantage of it. Now, I just gave Andy Newton absolute dog's abuse for his selection in the feature race. It was desperately unfair of me. But if you nap that horse, I will cut you. What do you reckon, Andy? What's your best bet of the weekend?
Andy, nap him, will you nap him?
Golden Sun. Watch the horse go and bolt up now so that it's double peas and carrots. Actually, watch the live stream to see my reaction on the Triple H Racing podcast, because I'll be watching that race. I will have that on a screen here. And if Golden Sun goes and wins that, I will vomit all over the camera.
Well,
even if Andy naps it, would you not be happy?
I'd be delighted for him while there's peas and carrots being cleaned up all over the place here.
But look, right, you can't see my screen, right? But I'm not joking you, right? Golden Sun, the odds have just changed. I'm telling you, right? It was 14s a minute ago, and it's just gone like that, flickered, and it's now 9-1. Golden Sun.
Oh no!
It's happening.
He's still in my tracker, Andy. He's still in my tracker. He's mocking me.
Yeah. Look, I think I'm not gonna nap it, because I think there are some ifs and buts with it, and but I just think we need to give Paul Nicholls some love, don't we? We need to put our arm around him and go, come on, champion trainer of the past, you've still got it. Last week there was glimmers of hope with Pictory and so on. So look, Golden Sun's going to be the next best. I just think that in a race where probably 8 or 9 of them can win it, that's a good each way.
Emmet, I think you talked him out of that.
No. And I think I'm sticking with the Nicholls love, because the nap's going to be Rubo in the Pendil. Okay. He loves his race. He's won it 13 times.
I'm with you on that, Andy Newton.
Good. That's it. So it's a Nicholls 1-2. All right.
Watch what's going to happen now. Watch what's going to happen. Rubo's going to get beat. Golden Sun's going to win, and I'm going to look like a feckin' idiot.
Well, I just think it'll be top 3, but we'll see. I might be wrong. But.
There's a daughter of Justify running at Dundalk tomorrow called Just Before. She'll win. Coolmore owned. Willie Brown trained. Shamie Heffernan on board. She hasn't had a run this season yet, but she'll win tomorrow night. The nap is Hyland, obviously. It's so blindingly obvious that horse is just going to go and win. Put him in all your multiples. He can't get beat. Not a guarantee. Gamble responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. Batteries not included. All that malarkey. But he wins. He just goes and wins. It's real simple. It's an easy game.
If rain stays away, if this rain, look, look, as I said, it's nothing major. It's not like downpours or some horrendous storm, but it's just been away all day.
Yeah.
I don't know what tomorrow. Be fine in the ground, no problem.
Yeah, do keep an eye on the ground for sure. But it's fine now. As the recording, it's good ground. He wins, and I'll be doing the forecast with Our Power as well, who did us a massive favour in that race a couple of years ago, and he can do us a favour again by bringing up the forecast behind the impressive winner Hyland. Bioluminescence is in action in Ferryhouse in the 435. It's going to be soft there. It was soft ground today. It was slow motion stuff at Punchestown today, so I'd imagine it'll be the same for Ferryhouse. She should win, and she'll need soft ground at Cheltenham, but it'll just be nice to see her out. Anything else to mention? Oh yeah, Celtic Dino. Celtic Dino's the next best. He's 5-1. So I'll do a patent. Rubo, Andy, Celtic Dino, Hyland. That's it. Peter, what's your strongest one?
I put up 2, as I said. I put up Duracilla and St. Anna Polino. If St. Anna Polino stays, I think he'll win. And Duracilla, the more rain, the better for that. If I was picking one just to get a winner, I'd go with Duracilla because it's a match race, really. But I'm not overly keen on any of them because they're probably going to be about the right prices,
Okay, well, one of those in the Lucky 15 then. Or make it a Lucky 31 and go with both the Peters.
Okay, well, if you want one that obviously has a bigger chance because it's a 2-runner race, really.
Okay, Duracellino.
Duracilla, she runs Newcastle. I don't know what price she'd be now. I mean, there's no odds through the last time I checked. 135 Newcastle on Saturday. Duracilla, she's an Irish horse going over.
Okay. All right. She goes into the Lucky 15, and that's the way we're going to do it. Hey, last week, social media was ablaze with the fact that Ruby Walsh had given his nap for the Cheltenham Festival. And his nap was a bumper horse. Copacabana. Can't be beat. This is the one to beat. Paul Townend won't even be riding it. The winner of the champion bumper was seen today at Punchestown. My goodness, that Brian Drew and Professor Caroline Tisdale horse is an absolute beast. and he knocked 7 lumps of insert colourful language out of the Gavin Cromwell horse, who'd run a really nice race, an eye-catching race on his hurdling debut, behind the supreme novice hurdle favourite. You've got
fours now.
4 to 1
for the bumper. That's ridiculous.
I'd take 4 to 1.
Sorry, I don't know about that.
I'd take 4 to 1.
I think it was 16s before today.
That's a crazy price. 4 to 1.
What did you make of it?
As Emmet said earlier, that race has been. I think Ballyburn won it.
Ballyburn won it. Yeah.
And there was, I think, was
But
it James
4
Gate,
to 1.
and it came out and run third in the bumper. And it's a bumper that Mullins likes to target, doesn't he?
James's Gate sounds victorious. Ballyburn. That's who he's won it with the last 3 years. That was a
4 to 1 though. 4 to 1 is short.
I'd take it. I would take 4. Well, I'm a dum-dum.
No, I wouldn't say that at all, Emmet. I just think it's short. 4 to 1.
I'm wondering, are we even getting 4s? I'm being told we're not even getting 4 to 1.
What was it less now? It might be less now. Yeah, it was.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Bonus content on the Final Furlong podcast as we desperately try and search for the current betting for the champion bumper with Jeff Banks bet. Well, first of all, let's see what Jeff is saying. Go
through the betting there, Emmet, if you can, for the first 6 or 7 for that.
Okay. That can't be right. Copacabana is 9 to 2. Game of Inches is 5 to 1 with Jeff Banks bet for the champion bumper. Then Bambino Fever 6s. Wind Beneath My Wings for the David Pipe Yard 13 to 2. Calypso Chance 7s. Jalon Duderi, who is going for this race, 14s. Zara Fatal 16s. No Drama This End 16s. Sober Glory 16s. Mossy Fen Road is a 20s shot. That's the betting with Jeff Banks bet for the champion bumper. I have a feeling, I've been told that Jeff Banks' industry best price about Game of Inches for the champion bumper, wildly impressive in the bumper in the lucky last at Punchestown today. Patrick Mullins never touched the horse. He never cracked the whip once. And indeed, Jeff Banks is industry best price. The only other bookmaker going anywhere close to that price is one that won't get mentioned because they don't sponsor the show. They're going 9 to 2. Jeff Banks is going 5 to 1. And the standard price about Game of Inches is 3 to 1 for the champion bumper.
Get on.
Take that 5 to 1 now. 5 to 1, Game of Inches, champion bumper. Patrick Mullins in the saddle. Boom. Good night, good luck, bye-bye.
I think there'll be quite a few people that probably still haven't seen the race just because it was, I think it was run at 5 o'clock today, wasn't it? And then once that all filters through tomorrow, that 5 to 1 is long gone.
It'll be gone now when Emmet gets on.
I was standing beside an odds compiler and I said, what did you think of that? And he goes, what did you think of that? And I went, well, I'd back him for the champion bumper. And I went, what price would you go? And he went, well, I wouldn't lay anything bigger than 10s. No way. And I'd take 10 to 1 right now.
Yeah.
3 to 1? He'll absolutely murder them. That was wildly impressive. Game of Inches. Bonus content in the Final Furlong podcast. You're getting 5 to 1 with Jeff Banks bet about the champion bumper winner now. Everybody else is going 3s. JeffBanks.bet. Use your promo code FFP500. That's it from Peter Michael, Andy Newton, and me, Emmet Kennedy. We'll be back on the Final Furlong podcast very, very soon. Remember the Triple H Horse Racing podcast Saturday for the Saudi Cup. Make sure you're checking out Andy Newton on X. His lays of the days will point you in the right direction of the horses to steer miles clear of. It's like a cheat code. It's like a hack code. To find out who Andy dislikes, and that immediately makes the market for you. Because if he's found a weak favourite, you can do your scumbag each way bet there and make absolute fortunes. And Peter Michael continues to knock it out of the park with his winning selections. At Newt's Daily Lays on X, at Peter Michael Racing, at Radio Emmet. From all of us, we'll see you again very, very soon on the Final Furlong podcast. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.